Did John O'Keefe come into your house at 34 Fairview at any time on January 29th, 2022?
Absolutely not. I wished he had.
So you were trying to distance yourself from Miss Reed in your interview with Michael Proctor, weren't you?
Objection.
Were you?
Who was inside the house when you walked in?
My nephew Colin, my son Brian.
Wait,
and he had
Colin.
Colin wasn't at the house. He was not at the house when John was there.
Remember Allie McCain?
Continued drinking throughout the evening consistently?
Yes.
Did you believe you were okay to drive?
Yes.
I don't believe a word coming out of this man's mouth. Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Buckle Up, It's the Law with Larry Forman. Folks, we are here. We are going to continue with Brian Albert, the real killer. Listen to him testify. Listen to what he says. Listen to how he answers Jackson's questions from trial number 1 in 2024, in May, June 2024, in the first Karen retrial. Now, for those of you who may be watching the second retrial, which is when this is premiering, you may know that Brian Albert has not been called to testify by the prosecution. Yeah. He has not been called on to testify. Why? Is the defense going to call him? I guess we will find out. This is being recorded at the end of May 2025, so I don't know exactly when this video is going to premiere, but let me tell you folks, you do not want to miss this one. Let's watch.
To take a look at a photograph. Just look at that to yourself for a second. Tell me if you familiarize yourself with it, and then look up when you're ready.
Yes.
May I approach?
Yes.
Actually, I don't need to. Mr. Albert, you can stay there. Do you recognize the photograph that's before you?
Yes.
How do you recognize it?
Well, I recognize the people within the photograph, and the background of the photograph looks like the hillside.
Does that appear to be a photograph that was taken on January 22nd, 2022?
Yes.
You were at the hillside bar?
Yes.
May I publish this, Your Honor?
Okay, is it already in evidence, or
It
you?
is not, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
So you put it in evidence first, and then you
May
publish
I
it?
have that marked as next in order?
Yes.
And then,
Exhibit 67.
Thank you.
you see that photograph? It's the same photograph that you're looking at in front of you?
Yes.
Describe who the people are going from left to right, sir.
Chris Albert, myself, John O'Keefe, and Tim Daly.
And this was on January 22nd, 2022, at about 11 p.m., correct?
Yes.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Albert, who took the photo?
I don't know.
Karen.
Karen Reed took the photo, didn't she?
I have no idea who took that photo.
Karen Reed took the photo. You're literally staring right at her, correct?
I don't know who took the photo.
Well, who else do you think it could have been?
Well, there were a lot of people there. You mentioned my sister, 2 sister-in-laws, a brother-in-law. I'm not sure.
Did you ever see this photo from Jen McCabe?
No.
Did you ever see it from Julie Albert?
No.
Chris Albert didn't take it. He's in it.
Right.
Tim didn't take it. He's in it.
Right.
You obviously didn't take it.
Right.
And who's the guy on the far right?
Tim.
That was Tim. Who's the guy next to Tim?
John. Right?
So who do you think?
Do you still need the photo up? I'm sorry, I thought you were done with it.
Do you remember?
Yeah, it was John, yeah.
Okay. Put the
Yes.
baseball cap on, correct?
Yes.
I don't need it, Your Honor.
Okay.
So given the fact that you were never shown that you've never seen that photo before today, correct?
I saw a photo that was sent to me in Discovery, or to my attorney, that showed only, I believe, me and John in the picture.
Okay.
I think it's the same photo, only that's blown up to show everybody.
By the way, for the record, and far be it from me, because I'm a criminal defense attorney, I cannot be hating on the guy like, why is he hiring an attorney? You know, even if he was innocent as can be, and he would have lawyered up, I've been like, respect, you know? Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that I can say, but this one I cannot say. Lawyering up is a very, very smart move, especially for a criminal who probably killed John O'Keefe. Lawyering up is even smarter. But all that aside, it's very, very smart to lawyer up. It's not just only guilty people get a lawyer. You know, innocent people get lawyers too. 1-844-774-HURT. Doesn't matter how innocent or guilty you are, because we get you most money in your pocket for your injuries. So lawyering up is not always a bad idea. Sometimes lawyering up is a really, really good idea. And in this case, I'm telling you, Brian Albert, as much as I'd love to, and I know you guys in the comments below are going to say like, oh, why does he need a lawyer? And you know what? Half of you are right. The other half, you understand. He needs a lawyer regardless. He needs a lawyer regardless. You know what I mean? Because with a lawyer, he's more protected. And like I said, there was a dead body found on his lawn. Of course you should get a lawyer. Doesn't matter if you did it or not. You know what I mean? It's just good business. It's good practice. And also, as you're scrolling down, don't forget to hit that like button. And as you're commenting below, hit the subscribe button. And make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss any more notifications of these amazing videos that are going to be coming into your notification bar. All right, let's keep going.
So, given what you now know about that night, who was there, the fact that John is posing for a photo right next to you, who do you think took the photo, sir?
I have no idea who took the photo.
Could it have been Karen Reed?
Objection.
Sustained. Let's move along from
In
that,
fact,
please.
you were interacting with Karen Reed and John O'Keefe throughout that evening, correct?
I remember having conversations with John that evening. I don't necessarily remember speaking to Karen that evening.
Irrespective of whether or not you spoke to her, you obviously saw her there.
Yes.
You were there with her for a couple of hours.
Well, I wasn't there with her for a few hours. I was there with other people.
Okay. So without splitting hairs, she was there, correct?
Yes.
John was there.
Yes.
You were socializing with John.
Yes.
She was right next to him.
Sometimes, perhaps not, maybe all the times I was talking to him, no.
So you were socializing not exclusively with her,
Right.
but certainly socializing with her 6 days before John O'Keefe ended up dead on your lawn, correct?
We were there at the same time, yes.
And yet, when you were asked 3 months later, do you know Karen Reed, or how do you know Karen Reed? The actual question was, so the female you've never met before. Is that fair to say? That was Mr. Lowey's question. And your immediate response was, no, I've never met her or seen her before. Correct? That's what you said.
That's not my whole response, no.
That's what you said immediately upon that question, sir.
That's the beginning of my response, yes.
That was the first sentence out of your mouth.
Yes.
You also testified at the subsequent grand jury in June of 2023. When asked what was your impression of Miss Reed, you said, quote, I honestly didn't really have one. I didn't have any conversation with her. I just kind of saw her from across the table. I didn't really think of it either way. Correct?
I don't know what that question is referring to. Is that for the waterfall or is that for Hillside?
Hillside.
Okay, yes.
All right. So in June of 23, a little over a year later, your testimony significantly changed from no, I've never met or seen her before, to I really didn't have a conversation with her. I saw her across the table. I didn't really think of it either way. Correct?
No, I think those are very similar testimonies.
When you were asked in the other proceeding,
What?
and this is about the waterfall, question, did you talk to Karen Reed at the waterfall that night? You answered unequivocally, I did not. Is that right?
Yes.
And that's what you told the June grand jury, June of 23, correct?
Are you referring to the state grand jury? Or?
No, I'm sorry,
Okay,
that's why I'm using dates. I'm trying to be careful.
right.
April,
I'm just not clear on what all the dates were.
I'll see if I can clarify.
Okay.
April 2022, state grand jury. June of 2023, a different grand jury.
Okay.
Okay? When you were asked at the June of 2023 grand jury, did you ever talk with Karen Reed at the waterfall that night? Your answer was, I did not. Correct?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. With the court's permission, could I play a small clip from Exhibit 53?
Okay.
Starting at timestamp 11:53 and 15
Oh, yeah.
seconds. If we could just play this, and I would direct your attention, sir, to the upper right-hand corner.
That's Brian Albert talking to Karen Reed the night of the murder. You can't get better than this, folks.
Do you recognize the individuals in this clip?
Yes.
Do you recognize that person?
Yes, I believe that's me.
Do you recognize that person?
I do. I believe that's the defendant.
Ms. Reed,
Yes.
what does it appear you are doing as it relates to Ms. Reed in this clip?
I'm talking to her.
It appears that I'm talking at the table. I don't know if it's specifically to her, but
Can we play it? Stop. Did you see the part of the clip starting at 11:53 and 15 seconds, going back about 30 seconds?
yes.
Okay. Who did it appear you were talking directly to, and who did it appear was answering directly to you?
I looked like I was speaking, but I can't say for sure that I was directly talking to the defendant.
Even though it looked like you were looking right at her and leaning toward her as she was answering you.
I was definitely looking that way. I don't remember the conversation.
The reality is, we can take that down. The reality is, Mr. Albert, you had many conversations with her throughout the night, like you would with anybody else you were socializing with, correct?
No.
It's
Oh
not
my
like you
God.
ignored her through that evening.
Just
No,
admit it, dude.
No, I think that just the positioning of me on the other side of the table, I didn't have really much contact.
There was only one person between you, and that was Mr. Higgins.
No, I don't think that was the setup for the whole night.
I didn't say the whole night.
Right.
I'm talking about right then.
Right. So,
That's
so
just an example.
right. What's your question? Rephrase your question, please.
Did you or did you not have conversations with Karen Reed that night?
I didn't.
Socializing with her?
I do not recall having conversations with Karen Reed that night at all. No.
And that's what you told the grand jury under oath, notwithstanding this video evidence to the contrary.
Yes, I don't think that video shows that.
I'm going to let that stand. Next question, please.
You were interviewed by Michael Proctor on January 29th, the day after this incident, correct?
Yes.
And that was 6 days after you spent several hours, Karen Reed, at this event, correct? 6 days later.
Yes.
You were asked by Michael Proctor whether or not you knew or what your relationship was with Karen Reed, correct?
I don't recall if he asked me that.
Did you say to Michael Proctor, quote, that you quote, did not know Karen Reed, end quote?
I may have. Yes.
But when you made that statement, you did not know that Ms. Reed had a photograph of you at the Hillside Bar, correct? You didn't know that photo existed, did you?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Sir, you were trying to distance yourself from Ms. Reed in your interview with Michael Proctor, weren't you?
Objection.
Were you?
No, I was not.
Mr. Albert, you were trying to distance yourself from knowing Ms. Reed in your grand jury testimony with, well, I'll use the date, in your April 2022 grand jury testimony, weren't you?
No.
You were further trying to distance yourself from Ms. Reed in your June 2023 grand jury testimony as well, correct?
No.
You thought that it was
Yes.
important to try to deny knowing John O'Keefe and Karen Reed during those interviews and or that testimony.
Objection.
Sustained.
It's all true.
Mr. Albert, you knew that if you admitted having a relationship with John O'Keefe and Karen Reed, you'd have a lot to answer for when Karen Reed's boyfriend ended up dead on your lawn 6 days later, correct?
Objection.
Sustained. You can ask the question differently.
You knew that there would be questions about your relationship with Karen Reed if it were known that you knew her before her boyfriend ended up dead on your lawn 6 days later, correct? There would be questions.
Objection.
You can ask it a different way. That's sustained.
He's so ice cold, it's terrifying.
So you lied under oath when you said, I've never met or seen her before, correct?
No, because that wasn't my whole statement.
The sentence, I've never met or seen her before, it's pretty unequivocal, isn't it?
That was not the context of my whole sentence.
But that's the words that came, those are the words that came out of your mouth, right?
Initially, and then I remembered that I had met her once.
Let me just ask it this way.
Sure.
Is that sentence true or false? That you had never met or seen her before? True or false?
That portion of that sentence is false.
Let's get this on the record. Did John O'Keefe come into your house at 34 Fairview at any time on January 29th, 2022?
No.
Absolutely not. I wished he had.
And you're
Wait.
sure about that?
Wait. I forgot this part. I remember seeing this testimony live. Absolutely not. Why anytime that they're lying, they don't just say no. They say absolutely not. I wish he had. They're adding that little tidbit in there to make themselves look even more innocent. I wish he had, because then he wouldn't have been hit by Karen's vehicle. I don't believe a word coming out of this man's mouth.
As you are about the statement that you had never met or seen Karen Reed in your life,
Objection.
correct?
Sustained. Can I ask it differently, Mr. Jackson?
I want to get back to the waterfall. I know I asked you this about the hillside.
Notice how Jackson doesn't even care about the objections. He's just got an agenda and he's moving forward. I love it. That's the hallmark of a good lawyer. That's not relying upon a judge or a prosecutor objecting. He knows there are going to be objections sustained, no matter what he does. So he's just trucking along.
About this,
Excellent work.
specific question about the waterfall. Did Brian Higgins say anything to you about John O'Keefe and Karen Reed walking in together at the waterfall?
No.
Did he say anything or give you any indication that he was upset about Karen Reed showing up with John O'Keefe?
No, he did not.
It appeared from your observations that John and Karen were getting along at the waterfall.
I didn't really notice, but I didn't notice anything was wrong.
They appeared pleasant,
Yes.
happy.
I don't know if they appeared happy. I didn't really notice.
They were interacting with others.
Yes.
You didn't notice any tension,
No.
no argument,
No.
no yelling or fighting.
Nope.
They looked like a normal, happy couple.
Yes.
Did either of them appear to you to be completely drunk?
I didn't have a ton of interaction with John or Karen that night, so I can't really say, but it didn't appear them that they were drunk, no.
You had an opportunity to review the waterfall video. You did it with Mr. Lally, correct?
The only small portion of it.
Right, but even in that small portion, and based on your memory, you don't remember that anybody being stumbling drunk and falling down over stools and things of that nature?
No.
Okay. They appeared to be acting appropriately
Yes.
and interacting with others appropriately.
Yes.
People were buying drinks for others, is that right?
I'm sure. I don't recall exactly, but I'm sure that was going on, yes.
Not that unusual to say, hey, I'll get this round, correct?
Yes.
You left the waterfall at 11:58, is that right?
Yes, approximately.
Who was invited to come over to your house upon leaving the waterfall?
Whoever wanted to, really.
You'd been drinking since about what time in the evening or in the afternoon?
9-ish?
That's when you went to the hillside?
Yes.
That's when you had your first drink?
Yes.
And you continued drinking throughout the evening consistently?
Yes.
Did you believe you were okay to drive?
Yes.
What kind of car did you have at the time?
Ford Edge.
Black?
Yes.
Did you drive that car home from the waterfall?
Yes.
Who rode with you?
My wife and my daughter.
What other cars were in the driveway when you got there?
I don't recall. Brian Higgins' Jeep was in the driveway backing up as we pulled in.
So kind of in your way.
Yes.
In other words, you weren't going to park him in.
I didn't want to block him in.
Right. So you waited until he moved his Jeep out of the way,
Yes.
and then you pulled in.
Yes.
Where in the driveway did you pull in?
I believe I pulled to the left side of the driveway.
You would have been closest to the garage, or was there a car between you and the garage?
I would have been closest to the left side walkway. I don't think there was a car in front of me, but I'm not 100%.
Mr. Albert, did you move that black Ford Edge at any point that night after you got home?
No.
Brian Higgins was the first person to actually physically get to the house. He got there before you, correct?
Yes.
Describe his Jeep.
He had a Jeep Wrangler. I believe it's white. I think it's white.
Any appendage on it?
A plow.
A snow plow on the front
Yes.
that can hydraulically go up and down.
I didn't see it that closely. I'm assuming it can, but I don't know that for sure.
After Mr. Higgins moved out of your way, out of the driveway, where did he put that Jeep?
I don't know. I don't know where he parked.
so you wouldn't have gotten to the house if you left Waterfall at 11:58. You have to get out to your car, get in your car, start it up, drive home, wait for Brian Higgins to move his Jeep, park your car, then get into the house. That's a fair assessment of the mechanism of you getting home that night, correct?
Yes.
You wouldn't have gotten into the house until, what, 12:15? Maybe 15 minutes for all that?
I would put it more, maybe 10 past 12.
Okay. 12:10 or so?
That would just be a guess.
So it could have been 12:15.
Yeah, and it could have been 12:07.
Who was inside the house when you walked in?
My nephew Colin, my son Brian.
Whoa,
and
wait.
then he had
Colin. Colin wasn't at the house when John was there. Remember Allie McCabe? Colin wasn't at the house when John was there. Colin wasn't at the house when John was there. So did Colin leave and come back? Or my nephew Colin? Oh my God, I forgot this part completely.
two friends, female friends. I believe it's Sarah and Julie.
Sarah Levinson,
What were they
Julie
doing
Nagel.
inside the house?
They were sitting at the kitchen table.
And your nephew, Colin, how old was he at the time?
I believe 17 or 18.
Oh wait, no.
Describe him.
Is it Colin?
In what way?
Colin Albert?
So 2.5 years ago. So he was probably 5'11", maybe 6 feet, and probably 100 and, I'm guessing 175 pounds.
Big boy.
He's
Not a small kid.
right.
I mean, bigger than me, significantly.
Yes.
Athletic guy?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Played
Colin
football.
Albert.
Yes.
Good at football.
Yes.
You testified that you went to the bathroom after you arrived home, correct?
Yes. After saying hi to everybody, I went to the bathroom.
Was that upstairs or downstairs?
I'm not sure I have a bathroom downstairs and not downstairs, but on that floor and then upstairs. So I'm not sure which one I went to.
When you came
I think
back,
it was upstairs.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
I think it may have been upstairs, but I'm not sure.
When you came back downstairs from the bathroom, or came out of the bathroom, wherever it was, you no longer saw Colin.
Yes, prior to going to the bathroom, Colin had said that he was getting picked up.
But you never saw him leave.
No,
You didn't see him leave the house, and you didn't see him get picked up by anybody.
I did not.
You didn't see a car outside waiting for him, correct?
I didn't, no.
You did give an initial statement on the morning of the 29th to Michael Lank, about 7 a.m., is that right?
Officer Lank was in the house at that time and speaking to all of us, really.
And you've admitted that you have known Michael Lank for many years, is that right?
Yes.
Did you see that as a problem?
In what way?
Conflict of interest?
Objection, Your Honor.
I'll let him have it.
I
Did you
mean-
see that as a conflict?
No.
You were asked who was present at the house that night, the night before, right?
Yes.
You stated the following people were at the house that night, quote, in response to Officer Lank's question, at some point during the time in question. That's how he phrased the question. Who was at the house at some point during the time in question? You understood that, right?
I don't recall his question, no.
You knew that he was asking who was in the house, right?
That's right, yes.
So you mentioned Brian Albert Jr.
All right, folks, we're going to stop it right here on the cliffhanger. I know you guys love it when I leave you hanging like this, so I'm going to keep doing it. We're going to continue with Brian Higgins, and there are a lot more parts to go, folks. There is a lot of Brian Albert testimony to get through. So, I thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, everybody.